Welcome to the program, friends. It is time to say something that is uncomfortable, but true, and it needs to be said. Political Islam, Islam as it is practiced in much of the world, is not compatible with Western values. That is not us saying it. That is not some preacher in a mosque in Afghanistan saying it. That is an Islamic scholar in Sydney, Australia.
We can't take away from the fact, first and foremost, that jihad is definitely part of our deen. And as Muslims, we should never ever shy away from this.
Seems pretty clear. Just consider the past 48 hours. A Muslim killed 3 Americans in Syria. Police arrested 5 Muslims for plotting a massacre at a Christmas market in Germany. Officials in Paris canceled a major New Year's Eve concert due to the threat of Muslim violence. 2 Muslims murdered 15 people at a Hanukkah party in Australia. They gunned them down. They all have one thing in common: the cause of radical Islam. This hour, Bill O'Reilly on the importance of being honest now about what is behind this threat, plus Baya Ungar Sargon on whether or not Jews in America are still safe. Can't believe I have to ask that question. Mark McKinnon on the one 2028 candidate every Democrat is rooting against, or at least rooting would go away. Our Why It Matters segment is where we start tonight. For a long time, people, the media, even people like me, have been bullied into ignoring and speaking about the dangers of Islamic terrorism for fear of being called Islamophobic. That stops now. The past 48 hours have shown us it is better to be honest than politically correct. The Muslim community must hold each other accountable and push out the radicals. If they will not, they are part of the problem. We have now seen large Muslim populations in the United Kingdom, Western Europe, the United States, and Australia who do not share our values and do not want to share our values. But anyone who calls that out is apparently just suffering from Islamophobia. It is their fault. A phobia is generally described as an irrational or excessive, unsubstantiated fear. That is a phobia of flying, because planes generally do not crash. But in 2025, as the year comes to a close, we are seeing these fears play out in dangerous ways. It is something we have been warning about for months. Mass groups calling for attacks on Jews, like we've seen in the UK and in Spain and around most of Europe. How long till you think it comes here?
You know, we've seen it on college campuses.
And I say this really respectfully. What has happened to your country? That anti-Semitism has spread throughout the United States and Europe, and it is growing like a cancer. It is not that there are not any good Muslims. Muslim countries and organizations have denounced the shooting. But this is a bigger problem. This is about an ideological issue. There are not local and national Islamic leaders calling out radicalization in their own communities. Nobody is looking inside and saying, we have a problem. Where is Mehdi Hassan and CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations? Where are a bunch of big imams in New York and in Chicago and in Minneapolis saying Islam needs to have a reckoning about terrorism, about the radicalization inside their own religion? They're silent. Crickets. Instead, some leaders, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, perhaps the most vocal and prominent Muslim political leader in America, blamed the guns for the slaughter of Jews in Australia by Muslims.
It is a tragedy that this has become a normal occurrence, not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws.
That is horrifying. We have to admit honestly that there is an enormous problem around the world and now in Western cultures, in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, and Western Europe, with Islamic extremism, Islamic terrorism. Of course, that doesn't represent the whole faith. In Australia, they're saying the Bondi Beach massacre is an isolated incident. Hogwash. There's nothing isolated about it. There is nothing surprising about it. After October 7th, there were groups of pro-Palestinian protesters chanting on the streets to gas the Jews. And now we're supposed to be surprised that it's some aberration that a father and son decided to open fire on a Hanukkah party, killing more than a dozen. It is time to acknowledge that most Muslims coming to the Western world may not want to be Western. They want to bring Islam to America and in the West. They want us to accept their values. They do not want to accept ours. Until something changes, many more people will die.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.